Oh, it's only a level 1 untouchable. This is a squishy Enchantress. But Akke also only has 1 point in the nuke so far, as he has gone for the point of the army. While bottom lane, you can just see Xiao running for dear life. Even with the double damage lure, Alliance are still going in on him. That's top lane, on the Bulldog, and that will be the first one. LGD, they wrangle him down in the trees, so off to a good start here.
Down at bottom, there's a dive on the Xiao as well. Loda's going deep, and he's going to pay the price. That is questionable at best. Diving not only at 15 CS compared to the 8 of Loda.
September sneaking around in the river. Smoke is going to break. Bulldog, oh, he's seen it, but I don't think he's getting out of this one. Trap comes out, stun to follow up, clap him, and the dog is down. A quick grab here. A second one in this top lane, and
LGD not wanting to let him do so, as we've already got a smoke coming out now as they cross the
and they're going to find EGM. That's a sweet grab. He does have the tether. He's not in range of anyone. He gets hexed right as they walk up the hill. Stun comes through, and the Hadouken finishes them off. Well executed gank.
We saw how integral it was to anything that Alliance wanted to do in terms of initiation and counter-initiation. Now at bottom, you can't let this happen. As LGD just gets a free one, and now EGM was even caught by the coil, and Tiny making a run for it. S4 using that haster to kite around. EGM's down again. Second death in about 60 seconds. And this is
right now from Xiao to LGD, and I'm not sure Alliance could change it anytime soon. They need to find small pickoffs, avoid the big fights, and they'll get on top.
Roll on to aggressive, they smoke this in, Sep comes in, aggressive should end up dropping and will. Xiao 8's there, Coil was available but decided not to go ahead.
Support thing is vision, but the cool thing about Spectre, he's a carry that gives you vision, and that's going to be huge this game, so removing the wards, that'll always help. Top lane.
Up, Coil spent, Bulldog got caught, tried to TP out. Not $1 million dream Coil, but not too bad. At least worth 400 gold.
Now, at least not $1 million.
Well, the way the prize pool continues to go up here after your $1 million dream coil is actually discount.
That's a 9-minute blink on MMY.
Yep. And he's had it for a while. It's a funny thing. I saw it pop up the notification. He's had it about a minute already.
Even faster. That's brutal.
S4 next on the list. Loda's there. Don't know how much help he's going to be able to give him. That blink already paying dividends for MMY. There's a Crypt Swarm to finish it off, and there's going to be a stun on the Xiao 8. Akke's moving a little, as you mentioned, man, aggressive, just continuing to farm
he's
away.
Just going to blink away. They can't kill him. Oh, this is ugly. Maybe they can find Xiao 8, though. Still doesn't have his own blink. Probably a little jealous of MMY. They are going to die for him. Reality Rift there does get the phase shift off. Then the Hex comes out from the tree line. MMY starts sapping Loda's Loda, but not enough for the kill, and they will get the MMY grab as well. It's like they got set with the roar behind it as well. Alliance pouring it on, and all of a sudden, looking like they were ready to next 11 minutes. So LGD really laid it on thick early. I wouldn't say this one has to work, but it's going to limit their offensive potential if it doesn't by quite a bit. And here they go in the mid lane, aggressive with the Haunted. MMY finds the IO. And it's very EGM.
This was baited by a Navy. Navy baited them initiating into mid, knowing the gank was coming. Drums now done on the Death Prophet.
They're relocating. They won Navy. Ghosts are coming back though, and maybe gets the silence off, limiting the damage output. MMY on the high ground, dropping the finger. They can kill off EGM here. They will do so. However, Alliance chase forward and aggressive wants to get the hell away. A bold move by Alliance, and it does end up paying off overall for it. And wants to be able to fight early and often, which against the Spectre is definitely not a bad choice. Mid lane though.
Mid lane, going to be an engagement. There's the roar that just guaranteed the puck does end up dropping. Will be the blink picked up by Tiny, and now with these mobility items beginning to show themselves, Chaos Knight finishing his armlet. Pretty close to finishing his armlet anyway. Could be about time to really take it to him. However, S4 going to die behind the fight, so
they're not done yet. They want Akke here as well. A big combo on 3-4 could set the fight up. They've also got a freezing field. There's a sentry down though.
Oh, they got to go soon. Nope, too late. And now they're going to go in. Bulldog caught with just a one-man coil. S4's going to engage and immediately burst down MMY. Bulldog kept alive by the Glimmer Cape, and he will be relocated away. So they're happy to just give up what they had to give up, which was the Apex. That's going to be the haunt, actually, onto Akke, and S4's been spotted as well. There's that vision you were talking about, LD. Sep is right there with him. Aggressive, right there as well. This has turned into a disaster, as they will be able to get some damage done. Can they get the Spectre? They got the Aegis. Loda doing what he can. but tough to engage on an Enchantress with 4 points into Untouchable, and now aggressive backup off the respawn, trying to do what damage he can, but a lot of damage output coming out of Loda. Shao 8 is there, and they are able to clean all 2 up. Oh, how about we make it a full 5-man wipe? Attack, but I have a hard time believing it. I don't know, I'd have to check, but this calls back, hang on, hold that thought.
These haunts are just so huge for LGD. Again, it's going to be LGD starting to fight. Akke tried to TP out, will he make it? A Bulldog as well, maybe they get the double TP. MMY says hell no. And he shuts him down. And it purely for the vision in one of the previous games, but I mean, that to me has really been the story. They're getting the jump every fight. Last game they didn't get the jump once.
There's going to be a relocate down the bottom. Speaking of getting the jump, aggressive, trying to find a way up, using an earn charge on himself. Don't know you're getting home anyway, but the hard way this time, my friend.
They're like, you know what, should we get the
ability-oriented build?
At some point, I'd be really surprised if we don't see an Eggs put all top lane. They're moving on Loda. Drum's getting popped. He doesn't really have any backup. Loda, you can try to arm the toggle with the spear and siphon, and then the blast from the Crypt Swarm. Won't have a shot at Loda. Up 3,000 gold. I think just going for the Mansa style now. Yeah, it does buy the recipe. That'll be coming soon. But yeah, on the side of LGD, Aegis up. They'll be looking for objective. Clock's ticking. And the TP begins. Is the timing right? Nope, not right. See ya. Second time, not the charm, but hey, he did it once. That's good enough for me.
And see, that's the fun. You said 2 minutes on the Aegis, waiting on the haunt. Bulldog with his Blink Dagger ready, as his S4 jumps in, there we go, that's going to be a one-man core DKD, top of it, there's going to be the haunt to follow it up, immediately on the EGM, never had a chance, and it's an absolute cluster of illusions behind the fight. The Radiance Burn is doing its job, though, as LGD forcing Alliance back off their own tier 3s, now we're going to turn and fight, there's that Enchantress damage, and boom, Impetus from downtown, brings Loda down, he's going to be forced to buy back, Axes are there, hits 2, that's going to be the Aegis, maybe though, using that Spirit Siphon, and now engaged upon by Loda, uses the Phantasm, wants to get out, get that damage. MMY able to blink himself to safety, and aggressive able to skirt himself to safety as well. So a costly defense, but an effective one nonetheless for Alliance, as this game is going to continue. But actually MMY has finger if you wanted to think about using it. Oh, it is! Yes! It's a dive back! That's gonna be... one might even say, for those fans of your Roman history. And S4 looking to make it a little less painful, a little more painful for our boy Aggressive. And he's going to be, he's actually going to be a coil to turn this around. Did not get Bulldog with it. BKB's going to be used. There's the roar, and now here comes Loda. Loda used up into the air. S4 eating a lot of damage. They do get aggressive, but they also trade the Tiny. Now Loda in a lot of trouble, down to half health, trying to toggle his way to safety. Has the drum charge, will use it, was his last one. Trying to make a run, and let's see. Yep, Blink's going to be up in 2, 1. Jump ahead. Is anyone else going to be able to catch him soon enough? He's going to be able to jump ahead of him.
IOTP top coming in, relocates ready, and here we go. EGM looking for the big bailout for his buddy Loda. They're going to turn. Unassent, but the stun's there. Trying to focus him down. MMY to the rescue perhaps, but doesn't have the figure. Can they finish him off? EGM, a third death in about as many minutes. Costly, and Loda is next. It's 4 all day. Brutal. And then for good measure now you've got to dig on, so they can just basically haunt, blink on him, and he's dead. And without an IO, Alliance's lineup is suddenly way less scary.
It is amazing how integral this. They can get MMY even grabbing up a Ghost Scepter. They're ready to go fight. They're ready to close this out and ready for the winner's bracket fight.
Well, Alliance are ready to fight them, but Shao 8 is the high ground position, and he's going to look to break that smoke. Blink, Avalanche toss, here we go. And MMY going to be the first to drop. They're going to try to turn this around, but BKBs are going to be going off soon. MMY did manage to make it away with thanks to that Ghost Scepter. Bulldog's right there behind him. There's going to be a coil that catches a couple, but MMY just managed to get the finger off on the S4, but suddenly LGD able to turn this around despite losing MMY. It was a valiant effort from Alliance, but ultimately LGD just too much damage, too much health on the remaining tier 3s. This one looks to be in its waning moments. We are seeing a tier 1 team coalesce before our very eyes. LGD, little reason to have faith in this team coming into the event as far as actual results and performance goes, but you just look at the roster and these super teams from China can be a little hit and miss, but this one seems to be hitting well. And here we go, Akke.
out. There's going to be the haunt. S4 comes in, giving him the ride as best he can, but maybe just feels immortal at this point. Loda coming right out. There's going to be a roar from Bulldog. Just not going to matter. EGM hex fingered and Loda killed before he can even sacrifice himself to the god of the pit. GG! Alliance loses the series 1-2. They'll be falling to the lower bracket in the meantime. Use your word, man. Coalesce, LGD, bringing it together and punching their ticket to the winner's bracket final.
LGD had a game plan for the Alliance IO, and Alliance, they didn't see it coming. Nope. The Enchantress for the lane dominance, the Death Prophet is a hero who can tank up and survive the burst, and most importantly, I think the key pick of the draft, it was the Spectre and the Puck. Those two together made EGM's game miserable. He died 13 times by the end, and you can't even say any of those were misplays.